I'm Annie.
And I'm Susan.
And this is
Two Friends, One Chat.
We are gonna get clinical.
Ooh,
Ooh.
a little jazzy.
Yeah. And just as promised, we're going to be talking about boundaries.
Set 'em up. Set them up. And try not to knock them down. Boundaries.
Okay, that might be the greatest theme of boundaries I've ever heard. Is set them up and just try not to knock them down. And you know what? That's a life goal there. Like,
yes.
yeah. And then of course you know it's us, so we're gonna say this: when they get knocked down, forgive yourself. You're gonna be okay.
Oh,
Let's just
my
get
goodness.
back into the game.
Give yourself so much grace around boundaries.
So
they
much
are
grace.
hard.
Oh.
I say set them up and try not to knock them down.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, setting them up is hard work. That's probably harder work.
Yeah. Oh, and in the first time, like, you know, the first time you try, and it happens, and for me, I think a lot about relationally. You set a boundary, and the first time you do it, usually it's gonna be a surprise to the person who's overstepping, and the void of conversation that has created is the most unique feeling. And I remember thinking, for sheer panic, of course, first.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I realized I'm doing it. But I mean in a good way. I was like,
right.
But it felt like so uncomfortable. And then I was like, oh, this is actually what setting boundaries feels like.
That is such a good point, because setting boundaries will eventually feel good to you.
Yes.
But they will affect other people,
Yes.
and they won't like those new boundaries that you've put up.
Oh,
most likely.
Yeah.
They
No.
hate them.
It's not going to be easy. And you know what? Hopefully, in a healthy relationship, you and I am referencing a time where I wasn't able to articulate, I am setting a boundary saying, I can't do this.
Oh.
And hopefully for our listeners, again, you will be farther along with us. So you can say, I am setting a boundary for my own well-being. This is why. And you'll be in a relationship with someone and they will be like, oh, well, okay, I didn't know.
What a beautiful little bridge from episode 4 you just took. Just language, right? You just took the language. Hashtag throwback, and you just walked it. You made a little bridge and walked it right over to boundaries. That was beautiful.
Oh, I want to say
Nice
that
job.
it's a beautiful little wooden bridge over a beautiful little babbling brook.
Babbling brook. Oh my gosh, it totally is. It's not like a big steel bridge. A little wooden one with a
it's so
little rail.
peaceful.
Got some moss on it.
Oh, you know it does.
You gotta be careful if it's rainy because you don't want to slip.
So funny. I was going to say the exact same thing. It's like, get out of my head sometimes.
Well, we are each other's. We have the same brain, unfortunately.
It functions very
I
similar.
It's true.
Oh my gosh.
It's true.
I am very excited to talk about boundaries, though,
Oof.
and just about the human experience when we try to set boundaries and how it can feel isolating. It can
Yes.
feel like you're doing the wrong thing because you're going to be doing something out of the norm, right?
Exactly.
Yes, you're changing the routine. And you're certainly probably changing a dynamic of a relationship.
You better be, or you're probably not
doing
setting up boundaries, which is the hardest part. No, though you're totally
Yeah.
right. That's the point of them.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part.
Yeah. Can you think of a time when you had to set a boundary and what it felt like?
Yes, and it felt horrible.
Oh, wow.
Because, like you said,
Yes.
I think the way my counselor put it is you're going to upset the apple cart.
Oh, I love
You
that.
putting boundaries up for you is going to make those other people angry.
Yeah.
It was with my grandma.
Okay.
She very much wanted my attention all the time. We played cards once a week, but that would be like, it turned into more and more and more and more hours and more and more and more and more of my time. And I had to say, no, you get Thursday night and you get from 6 to 8 and that's it.
Yeah.
Ooh, wait. She got mad.
Oh, no.
Ooh, angry.
Oh,
she unfortunately got very angry in her old age in general and told the nurses once that I was locking her in the hospital, which I was not. She broke her hip. She couldn't leave. Anyway, very, very angry.
Yeah.
Very, very hard to do because you know how much of a people pleaser I am.
Yes.
But
yes.
Needed. It was needed. And it helped me be a better me. And then be nicer to her the time I was spending with her. Yeah. Because there were boundaries in place. And I wasn't like, how long's tonight gonna go?
Yeah. You know, one of the things, I that's just a perfect example because, and I like the image of upsetting the apple cart because it really is. You are going to change the order of relationships.
Yes.
And, you know, if you are a person being taken advantage of, and you need to put that boundary down, I think some things I would like to start kind of the discussion in the process, right?
Ooh, I love this.
Right? So, okay.
I love this.
So you're realizing, oh shoot, you know, this is draining on me. I'm not able to complete these tasks anymore. So you're starting to realize, okay, it's boundary time, right?
Yes.
So then you're going to start pouring in some ideas. How do I set this boundary?
Okay. We're recognizing there's issues.
Yep. Bam.
And then now how do I change this dynamic?
Exactly. Okay. Now we're planning.
Okay.
I think a lot of people get stuck kind of in this planning phase because of fear, right?
Yes.
Because the fear is always, and again, this is going to be a hashtag throwback. If 80% of our brain is driving us to be in relationship, setting a boundary is scary because the threat of losing relationship.
Yes.
You guys, that is the most real and scary thing. And I think it's why a lot of people end up in really unhealthy relationships because, man, they don't want to lose it all. And I'm telling you, if it's a healthy relationship, you won't lose it all.
Yes.
Yeah, and that boundary will be received.
That is so true because we think, at least this shit relationship I know and I'm comfortable in and it's better than not having anything.
Yes.
But you are so right. If it's a good, healthy relationship, it's going to survive and thrive.
Oh, yes.
With boundaries. You're welcome.
I loved that.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh. But it's also, that's a very insightful thing because when you're setting up that boundary, if the relationship is appropriate, the other person will see like your need and be able to act in that boundary.
Exactly.
And yes, boundaries are extremely difficult. So okay, we've identified. Now we're planning. Now we're gonna execute. This is where it gets difficult.
No. Oh,
and
I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay.
Practicing. I would love to chat for a little bit.
Okay.
In this phase about brainstorming ways to prep for the execute. Execute's always kind of a harsh word, but I sort of also love it because it makes it sound like we're like executing a plan or like a heist almost.
Right.
You know, like,
right.
Because mental health can be fun. I promise.
You've had 4 episodes of that already. Of fun. So, duh, you should know that by now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's things that come to mind, but I want to bounce some ideas off of you.
Please.
My first one is the ultimate practice.
Ooh.
Practice. Yeah.
Because practice makes
perfect, which is also a poop word.
Well, yeah, not really. It's
practice
just a stupid
makes
saying.
Awesome. We'll just say that. Practice makes awesome.
Oh, I like that.
I do like the word awesome.
I like that.
Sidebar, one of my favorite shirts my brother got me. It said just without me, it's just also.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
Instead of awesome, right? Did I get that one right? Sometimes stuff goes right over my head. It took me a second. Misa, I don't.
It also,
then I got it.
It took me a second, and I was looking at the shirt, and I was like, and then I just was like, that's really funny. So
that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're digressing, but I think yes, practice makes awesome. So
yeah,
you got to tell. Let's say you got to tell work. Work is a very common place where you have to construct boundaries. You got to tell them, I need a mental health day. And you got to tell your boss. And your boss, let's say you guys don't have the best relationship. Yep.
Oh, Annie, are you sure I have to?
Oh, Susan, yes.
Oh, okay.
So you got to do it. So, we've identified.
Okay.
We now are in the execution stage. We're prepping for it.
We're prepping for execution, which really will make all the difference on the execution. 100%. If you don't prep and plan, it will probably turn into a shit show.
Yeah, fact.
Or you won't do it at all.
Oh, yeah. That's also another...
Ding, 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 ding.
You can't see, but when we ding like that, we are putting our fingertips on a tip of our noses.
Ding, 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 ding.
100%.
Yeah.
So, ways to practice. And this is real. Who's done it? We've all done it.
We've all done it.
The shower conversation.
Who hasn't? Because just like singing is perfect in the shower, so are conversations I have with people.
Yeah.
They go, I sound just like Mariah in the shower, right? And my conversations with people always go perfectly in the shower or in the car. That's the other place I like to practice conversations, and they go really well every time. Every time.
It is true though, because even just saying the words and getting that out there, starting the boundary, especially, hey, do you have to have a conversation with a family member that's going to be difficult? Practice it.
Yeah.
Practice it. And the other thing is use your circle of counsel, right? So like we'll talk about, we haven't done this yet, but we'll talk about social mapping, right? So we're going to talk about the layers of support you have. And really identify those. So the next time, what we're hoping to do, and this has been probably one of the greatest practices for me, is connecting the dots of identifying I'm in a situation and I've got these pre-identified solutions. So, and that, we're social workers. We love mapping. We love it.
We are social and mental cartographers. Is that the map makers? I think cartographers are map makers. Cut that out if I'm wrong. Cut that out if I'm wrong.
We got to keep it. I love it so much.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're called.
I'm sure you're right.
I'll look it up later.
It feels right to me. Okay. My heart says yes. So
we do love a good mapping, but not like you're thinking, people. Not like a map of South America. It's a different kind of map. It's a different kind of map.
Yeah, and it outlines different levels of supports each person.
Yes.
And you know what's cool about doing that mapping? Sometimes you can do the mapping and you realize, oh my gosh, I'm missing supports.
I got some empty spaces here I need to fill.
Yeah, gonna do some identifying.
Or recognizing you have more than you thought you did.
Oh, that's
the other side.
Yep. Actually, the first time I did mapping, I realized I had really beautiful, consistent outer layer social support. So outer layers are like I don't want to say the least important because that sounds but they're like they're
just not as close.
Yeah. And the more consistent the better it is for mental health projection.
Okay.
So anyway, and we will totally do social mapping. But in that stage prior to execute, you want to practice. And then you want to bounce ideas. I mean, I just think of all the times I've had ideas, this podcast being one of them, where I was like, hey, Susan,
there's this thing.
Got this thing.
Okay.
But also, like, even in conversations with family, and have that person pre-talk that out. It's okay to do that prior to setting the boundary.
Yes.
Because it will help you, and it will help that moment when you set that boundary and it takes all the air out of the room and it ruffles that apple cart.
Yeah.
You will be able to be like, that's what I'm in right now. And you'll be able to say, this is the right thing, even though it's hard.
Because I prepped for this. I tried this already. I was expecting this. Yeah. I would take it even, for some people, one step back. For some people, I think writing it or typing it out.
I love that.
And then reading to yourself out loud what you've just written or typed. I have done that a lot.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference because I'm like, oh, that was just me emotionally ranting. That's not going to help anyone when I set this boundary. I need to take that out and kind of get, for this particular person, a relationship, right? That's not going to be helpful. I just need to state the facts or whatever it is. So if you feel like you don't have those safe social supports, that's something that you could try.
Oh, I love that.
As well.
I think, too, building on that, I think a good thing to talk about if we're going to talk about boundaries is power dynamics. Those are always going to come into play because...
They have to. They have to.
And you brought up such a great point. If you just need to write a letter, if you need to draw a boundary with someone, you get to decide how to do that. That's your boundary, your way to do it. If it needs to just be a letter, because, if you've been in... a relationship that has not equal power dynamics, and perhaps you have been a victim of domestic violence, interpersonal violence, all of those things, a way that your offender is going to control you is going to be, and we'll talk about all of these things, but it's going to be in what they say to you. They're going to shut you down. They're going to rattle you, and they're going to try to take your words away because they know your words are going to hurt, right?
Right.
And that's definitely an element of control that is used. So I think what you have said is so powerful and so important, because if you just need to write a letter and send that letter, that I just want you to feel so honored and empowered to do that.
Yeah.
And you do not have to feel like you need to have a conversation with someone. So...
Can I piggyback off of that a little bit?
Please do.
I need to ask, but I mean, that's what we do here. I have to kind of dive a little bit into a personal situation because that all reminded me of it. And I think at the core, we have to remember boundaries are for you.
Yes. They're
not for the other person. Exactly. They're for you. I was in not a great relationship with someone who had some issues with addiction. And at the end of that relationship, they had a lot happened and they disappeared. But the boundaries I had to do was write a letter to this person. I didn't even know where this person was at this point, so the letter never got sent to them.
Yeah.
But it was so important for me to write that letter, to set those boundaries for myself.
Yeah.
Whether that person ever even got it or knew about the boundaries, I needed to put those on paper or verbally or however you process best for me, because boundaries are for us at the end of the day.
Oh man,
they are for us.
You're just so smart and wonderful, but I'm hearing the words you're saying and you're so right, like, and it really all ties back. Words and language have power, and
yes.
We've talked a lot. Our society just doesn't value that. And there's so much complexity, but the ability to write your boundary and have that be just for you is so powerful. It also is empowering to you because
yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I love that though. Such an important piece of boundaries is that it is for you. It is for our mental health. Our physical health, our emotional health. I mean,
all the things.
All the things.
Oh,
yeah. Man, well said.
It's boundaries.
Boundaries. Okay, wait.
Oh,
I digress. We were planning.
Oh, sorry. Oh, duh. We were in the planning.
Now we're gonna execute, and we are going to draw our first boundary. We've talked to people that have been supportive.
We've talked to people we've trusted. This is our planning. Talked to people we trusted.
We've practiced. I mean,
yeah, practiced it. Maybe on our own, maybe with our trusted people.
Love it.
Okay.
We have maybe written it down
if we need it. Love it.
What other things could you do to prep yourself and pump yourself up?
I would also add. Let's say you're a writer. That's the way you process it.
Love that,
right?
Love that.
If you need to take flashcards into that conversation with you, take them in.
Yes.
Take them in with you.
Yes.
The other thing that I thought a few minutes ago and then forgot, but just recently remembered was, I think I wouldn't say it's the best way to have this conversation, but depending on the relationship, maybe it needs to be over email.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Maybe it doesn't need to be a face-to-face conversation.
Exactly.
I think best case scenario is always face-to-face because that's just the best way to communicate in general.
Absolutely.
And I think you will feel stronger and better when you execute that face-to-face. But if it's not appropriate for you, doesn't feel safe to you, or that's just the type of relationship you have with that person, do it over email. I love that. That's okay.
I love the idea, too, of, like, use tools, right?
Yes.
So if you're stressed out, the other thing you can do, too, is, so you're using your tools, you can preface a conversation. So you can say, hey, I need to talk to you, and it's going to be hard for me because I need to draw a boundary. Mm-hmm. And again, if this is a healthy relationship, that will go well received.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really difficult because the apple upset's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Those healthy relationships will shake out at the end. And it's a really, really beautiful thing. And one of the things we were pre-talking about boundaries that you brought up that I think is so important is that boundaries are here for our safety. And not just definitely for our physical safety, but not just for that, for our felt physical safety. So we have, again, we're all in relationships, and we have past experiences, and for some people, those are very, very traumatic. So you might need a boundary that's going to look kind of odd to another relationship for you to feel safe. And I want to say, that's okay.
Yes.
And again, I'm telling you, when the relationship is positive and you explain that and you draw that boundary, bam, that's a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And hopefully that can be reciprocated too. People can be open about, hey, here's a boundary for me.
Yeah. And I would add, I think it's important, kind of maybe in the prep phase, to really make sure that you're ready to set this boundary up.
Yes.
So I don't want you to do all this prepping and have this big conversation, and then they're like, no, and you're like, okay, never mind. Like, the reason you're prepping this is because you need this change in dynamic or relationship, or maybe it just needs to end completely, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you need to prep yourself for the consequences, good and or bad, of having this conversation so that you're ready.
Yeah.
For whatever happens in that. Yeah. 'Cause like we said earlier, it's gonna be hard. Yeah. This is a hard thing to do, and doing it is hard.
Yeah.
And I think the immediate aftermath can be hard if it's not a great relationship.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, it will change your life.
Yes.
It's back to the eating the vegetables. I think we talked about eating vegetables earlier, right? You just got to, except for me, you got to eat the crap thing to get the dessert. Boundaries are so hard to do, and they hurt.
Yeah.
They are painful to really set.
Yeah.
But when it's the right relationship and it's the right decision, it will change your life. It will change that relationship if it's a decent or good one.
Yeah.
And if it's that relationship then is done, they're not a good friend. They're not the right partner.
Yeah.
This is not whatever.
Yeah.
Then you will eventually be better off without them.
That is 100% true.
Yeah.
And I also just want to give so much grace because I have set boundaries and I have broken them.
Oh, yes, you will.
And it took me a very long time to, one, forgive myself, and two, use it as a learning experience and just build on that progress.
Yes.
If you know what yes.
I love that. I love that. Even if it doesn't go well and you don't hold to it,
exactly.
It's a learning experience for the next time.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Not a failure.
Not a failure.
Learning experience for the next time.
Okay.
Ooh.
Did you get chills?
I got chills. They're multiplying. I'm not losing control, though.
Oh, good.
I'm still in control, but... Whew.
That was really good. You also didn't see her dance. It was kind of like an arm shimmer. Like, I can't even... the vibe was there.
It was a chill, but also a dance shimmy, because I can't help myself.
A chill to a shimmy.
Ooh. I wish podcasts had video. That was really good chill to a shimmy. It was
so
a beautiful
good.
thing. It was a beautiful thing.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday we'll have like a.
like a live cam.
Yeah. We're not technically there yet, but someday.
Guys, we're not. Yeah, not at this point. Because then we'd have to like dress better and.
I'm literally in my jammies.
I'm in clothes because I came straight from work, but that's not always how that happens.
That is so wonderful.
Okay. Sorry. So again, we digress. That's what we do. Okay.
That's what happens in 2BFFs.
Taking those quote unquote failures and remembering they're not failures. Yeah. They're learning experience. Because you will do this.
Yep.
I'm not even going to say wrong. You will do this and it won't work. And you won't stick to it.
Yep.
That will, I guarantee you that will happen.
Yeah, 100%. Human experience.
So just be okay with that.
Yep.
Be like, okay, what am I going to do different next time then?
Yep. Yeah.
100%.
And you know what? Maybe you need to pull in more people next time.
Yeah.
This is very common in relationships. You're like, this person did something bad. I'm breaking up. We're done. It's over. But you don't tell anybody. And so it's real. Please. Your nose goes. Everyone's done that.
We've all done it.
You know, once you tell the best friend, it's over because they're going to be like, what?
Excuse me?
Again? What?
Do you remember? Back to this? All right. But also your best friend will support you regardless. They will tell you the truth and support you at the same time.
Mm-hmm. But I think that they're, using those positive social supports to lean on, to remind yourself, when I draw this boundary and I may risk losing this relationship, it is not the end. There are people who love and support me. There are healthy relationships I can bounce off of. And that's why it is so important to have positive, healthy relationships. And we'll talk tips and tools and all those ideas, but boundaries, I think, is probably one of the most basic introductions to healthy relationships.
Yeah. And I think that brings up a great point. I think in part of executing this is using those social supports to help keep you in check, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So telling you, this is a conversation I'm going to have. I need you to check in with me on whatever basis to make sure I'm still holding up my end of this boundary bargain that I've made with this person.
I love that. Oh, boundary bargain. Also, letting yourself feel all the feels with that person. And, man, if I could give any advice to 20, again, we'll talk about giving 20, or my advice to 20-year-old Annie.
Man.
It would be to talk through the feelings you're feeling.
Yes.
Because they're really normal. Like, it's so normal to be scared to draw boundaries. Like, and, I think one of the wisest things someone has ever told me is that fear is crippling. And it really is. It
my goodness.
And once someone told me that, again, in my late 20s, it was like, my mind was like, oh my gosh. I saw the times I was afraid and I just stopped.
Yep.
Didn't do anything.
Yep.
And so I didn't draw boundaries and I continued. And then I would draw boundaries, but like not very strong.
They're like erasable pen boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to draw this, but you just erase it later. There's that faint outline. You remember the erasable pens?
Oh, dude, I have
just
them.
That faint outline of what you had put there. Yeah, we've all done it.
Gosh.
And we'll do it.
Continually,
I mean, even when we get good at doing this, there will be certain relationships and certain people that even as good boundary setters, we will still not do a good job of.
Oh, man, that's so true. I think that is one of the things I'm really grateful for, though, is the growth that's going to happen even when we don't make it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, finding those positives.
Yep.
And then, like, they're like little trampolines, right?
Ooh.
So you stumble.
Yep.
Into a trampoline that then rockets you to a different level next time.
I love that. I love that perspective. Yep.
Just came to me. This is what my brain does.
Oh, I loved it.
Left to its own devices. So, you're welcome.
Oh, you know what I was thinking?
Yeah.
If you're listening to this and you have an example of a time that you drew a boundary and the way it made you feel. And if you want to like send that in,
ooh,
I think that would be really fun to share with everyone. So
yeah,
it is our email. Let's see if I can get this right.
Oh, girl, you got this.
So no numbers. Everything is spelled out.
Yes.
It's 2friends.onechat@gmail.com. That is spelled TWOFRIENDS.CH.
Nope.
Damn it.
No. So after the dot, backspace if you were typing for some reason at the exact same time. Backspace, and after the dot, then go
ONECHAT@gmail.com.
Bam.
Also, we have a sick website. And it's just...
twofriendsonechat.com.
Yep, no dot. Just twofriendsonechat.com.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think.
Here's my Easter egg.
Oh. Ooh.
Find the bananas.
The bananas.
Also, have just like the best night.
Yeah.
And we support you. Boundaries are hard and you're worth it.
Maybe eat a banana. If you got cramps, potassium's good. Not for like period cramps, but like if you got cramps in your legs, I hear bananas are good for that.
Do you know what is actually really good for period cramps? And I didn't believe this. I remember someone telling me this a long time, and it wasn't until I drank a gallon of water a day for like a challenge, like a couple months, you know?
Okay.
My cramps were the best they've ever been.
I was going to say something else totally inappropriate, so we'll just go with drink a gallon of water.
You're just going to go with find the banana? Wink.
Oh!
I'll take her.
Oh! Yes! Yes! Drink a gallon of water and find a banana.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you guys.
For cramps. Yeah.
Yes, have the greatest evening. Be safe and just know you're very loved.
You are loved, and you can set boundaries if you want to. We believe in you. We support you. You got this.
And we'll see you next week.
Next time.
Who
knows what we're going to talk about? We don't know.
Ooh. Bye, guys.